What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Outriders video. My name is Birdman778, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 questions that I've gotten while going through the Outriders demo. Now, these are going to be all the things that came from my chat, so if you want to ask questions yourself, come over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Birdman778. I stream every single day starting at noon Eastern Standard Time, so if you want to just see what this demo is all about, see what you can expect out of Outriders, be there. Or be a pair. Wait. Anyway, let's get on the video. Now, one of the first things I've been asked is in regards to legendary weapons and epic weapons. Are these worth going for? And I would absolutely say yes. Now, the first and foremost thing that I would tell you is to make sure you go into your settings first and go to this auto loot minimum rarity. This is going to be an insane skill for you to have while you're going through the game, because it will select certain rarities and automatically pick them up as you enter and leave the world. Now, this can be from death, respawning, stuff like that. So make sure you set it to what you're wanting it to be so you're able to always pick up those items. Now, like let's say you were to set it to rare. Those are going to be those blue drops that you're going to get throughout the game. You can let all those blue drops just sit on the ground as you're progressing through an area, but as soon as you despawn out of that area, those will be added to your backpack. This is an awesome system to have in a game because it's going to ensure that you're not going to lose out on any of those items that you might really be coveting for, that it might have dropped off a random ad behind you didn't notice, so you're not losing out on something really important. Now, I bring this around to the weapons as well. Now, we bring this around to legendary weapons because they are going to be something very crucial to your entire gameplay. First off, these are going to be those absolute creme de la creme weapons. Some of them come with abilities that are only on that said weapon itself, as well as they're going to have 3 extra weapon modifiers onto them. As you can see on my area master here, mine has critical damage, healing received, and close range damage. Now, as the rarities go top bottom, those are going to go down. So a purple rarity is only going to have 2 of those modifiers, while a blue rarity is only going to have 1. And that goes up to the actual modifiers on it itself. So like you see on mine, has weightlessness and then critical point, but I go down to this sniper here, it's going to have only fireworks on it. And again, blues are only going to get 1 of those modifiers, but epics and legendaries are going to get 2 of them. Now, those epics are kind of in that sweet spot, I feel like. They are going to be those general weapons that are going to have some pretty solid buffs on them. So you can find something with a really good roll, whether it's those double modifiers or the double attachment modifiers on it, and actually be able to do legendary weapon damage and skill or whatever it may be. These will synergize really well with your classes. Just make sure you're picking what's right for you. So me as a Devastator, I'm really going to want to go into like shotguns, ARs, SMGs, stuff like that to make my build work, while someone who's a Techromancer might want to use a rifle, a sniper, something like that instead. The next question I have is always about world tier. What is world tier? If you are a fan of the Borderlands franchise and specifically played Borderlands 2, you would know about OP levels. Essentially, OP levels were a modifier that just increased the level of the world over time, increased loot drops, stuff like that. And it's the same thing here in Outriders. We have 15 different world tiers that are available that you progress through the game through just getting XP, doing killing enemies, stuff like that. So as you progress, you're going to eventually hit World Tier 15. Now, on these, you're going to see different modifiers. These are going to be enemy levels, drop item level, loot rarity modifier, and legendary drop rate modifier. And then you're also going to get different unlocks through that, whether it's wearable item caps, different weapons, and resources as well. Now, this is going to go along with legendary weapons. Big question I've been asked is the farm for legendary weapons worth it? And I would say yes, absolutely. Right now, it is pretty difficult because we are essentially not getting that maximum percentage for what a legendary can be dropped. Right now, it's only 25% chance that one could be dropped on whatever enemy it might be. But once you get all the way up to World Tier 15, you're going to have a 300% chance legendary drop modifier. So just progress through the world. Stuff's going to get easier as you move on, because not only you as a character are going to have better weapons, better gear, you're going to have more skills unlocked, but it's going to eventually just lead to this point where you're able to just be this absolute monster and be rewarded for it as well. The next section that I want to talk about is involving status effects. People have been wondering, what are all these different status effects in the games? Do they have actual use? Some recent games that we've played have had status effects and stuff in them, but you just really don't notice what they are doing. How are they affecting your builds? How are they affecting your weapons? How are they affecting the enemy? Now, here in Outriders, we have a couple different ones. We have Ash, Bleed, Burn, Vulnerability, Freeze, Toxic, Weakness, and Slow. For the first two, we're going to do Ash and Freeze. Ash stops an enemy for 2.5 seconds. Freeze stops an enemy for 3.5 seconds. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would I use Ash and when I have Freeze available that will stop somebody for an extra second? Well, because it's going to synergize with what character you're playing. Ash is going to be something much bigger for a Pyromancer, while Freeze is going to be something much bigger for a Technomancer. And that's going to go throughout the entire set of status effects as well. Everyone has their own kind of niche, and it's going to work for them. So something might seem less for one person, but in reality, it's actually going to be pretty useful. We're going to move on to Bleed, Burn, and Toxic. Bleed does damage equal to 2.5% of the ability power every 0.5 seconds for a duration of 5 seconds. Burn does damage equal to 3.7% of the ability damage every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds, and Toxic does equal to 3.5 to the ability power every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds. Now, Bleed is going to be something for a Devastator. You passively can do it through doing melees, your different abilities, stuff like that, but it will slowly do damage to enemies. So if you got that one guy that's like barely on the edge there, you see he's bleeding, might as well just let him go, because his health will drain on its own. Burn is going to be something for a Pyromancer. Toxic, something for Technomancer. And then finally, we have Vulnerability and Weakness. Vulnerability increases the damage received by 25% for 10 seconds, and Weakness decreases the damage dealt by 30% for 6 seconds. Now, Vulnerability, I think, is going to be one of the biggest things in this game. If you see something with Vulnerable on it, use it. I am lucky enough that I have a modifier on one of my abilities for Devastator for the Bullet Reflect, that when I shoot it back, all those bullets back at enemies, it will cause Vulnerable on them. I've used this with different friends while we've been playing, and it absolutely just shreds the battlefield. In general, it just shreds the battlefield. I think Devastator still, we're going to talk about this in a later video, but Devastator just, he's my boyo. Yeah, they're my boyo. They're my homie. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, these task effects actually have use. Now, something to keep in mind with this is the fact of effect stacking. Right now, you aren't able to constantly add stacks onto an enemy. It's not like you're able to deal 1% of bleed and then get ×2 bleed or ×3 bleed. You would only be able to do that in a co-op setting. So other characters that have that same ability, you'd be able to do that, but if it's just you, you're essentially just going to be constantly resetting the timer on it rather than just adding another stack. Is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? I think it's right in the middle. I think if you are doing this on your own, I think the characters are already strong enough as is that it's not really going to matter. But on a group setting, it's going to be nice because those bigger buffed enemies are going to have so much more damage because of the amount of stacks. Now, this can go from vulnerability, the weakness, anything like that. I think those are going to be some of the biggest ones. So one of the biggest questions I've been asked is the longevity of the game. Is this going to last? Is this going to be another Anthem? I mean, that's just been a very common question. I think it's a silly question, but at the same time, it's worth answering. Is this going to be the next kind of flop? Is this going to hit a point and then it's just going to fall off a cliff? Is this not going to be fun? And the answer is, I'm going to say no. We have so much to do in these games. We have a series of missions throughout the main story that you're able to progress through. You have side quests to do that will actually affect the world around you. You have farming for weapons that are available. You have build making that's available. There is so much to do in this game, even just for a demo. I know you might be checking out people only doing a couple missions and then farming a lot, but at the same time, for someone like me who has been pretty much playing nothing but looter shooter farming games his entire life, this is an absolute treat. Now, I would say at the same time, obviously, most games have to have that longevity from themselves. The devs got to be able to add things in the game, have to constantly be working towards it. But I have a lot of hope in my heart that this is going to be one of the biggest games out there in 2021. So the final question, is this fun? Bird, are you having fun? Is this going to be a fun game? Is this going to hold my attention? And I would say yes. Just like we talked about the longevity just before, this game has plenty of it. It has lots for you to do. Are you going to farm? Are you going to do the expeditions? Are you going to check out the lore of the game? Are we going to find out what is up with that weird signal that you find out at the beginning of the demo? There is a lot to do in this game. I am excited mainly for the end game and what we can expect from that, what the build making is going to be like as well. But like looking just basic skill tree items and stuff like that, there is so much to do. I look at my class here. Look at this giant tree of wonderfulness. I can go top. I can go top middle. I can go middle middle bottom, bottom top. There's so much to do in just that. And then we also still have so many skills that we don't have unlocked yet that will also synergize with our builds. We have mods that add something different to each class item, stuff like that, each skill. There's a lot to do. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. If you are one of those tinkerers, one of those theory crafters, this is going to be the game for you. You need to pick this up. Go pre-order it on the Epic Games Store, Steam, whatever it may be, because this is going to be that game. I think back to when I first played the alpha for Destiny, and this is giving me the same exact feeling. I am thinking, holy crap, this is going to be the game for the next however many years that I'm going to be, my focus is going to be on. So I definitely say Outriders is worth your time, worth your money. Definitely go check it out. Check out my Twitch channel because I'm going to be covering all this different Outriders content. Twitch.tv/Birdman778. Stay up to date on my Twitter where I'm constantly making out super subpar sellout tweets. Twitter.com/Birdman778. And then make sure you're hitting that sub button here. YouTube.com/Birdman778. Everyone, I hope you're having a great day, night, whatever it may be. And you know what? Have a good one.